Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, salut. Bienvenue in vie de Montreal. Welcome to Montreal by night. Tonight's scene begins in the presence of one Adrian Carmichael, who not too long ago had a very insightful conversation. A lot of very hard questions were asked. Questions which, for Adrian's part, he needed to find some answers deep within him. Answers which, might not necessarily have been the ones he would have, prior to his imbuing, ever considered. But then again, a man at his wit's end can often come to some rather strange conclusions when his preconceived notions are challenged. But we'll start the scene in Father Carmichael's home. He'll hopefully walk us through what he's planning on doing today.
Actually, no, I'm just going to sit here quietly for the next half an hour. No, I'm kidding. Adrian will he will have just finished his midday prayers and taken a little bit extra, a little time extra to sit down, look into his desk, and think about what exactly he's about to do. Before he takes a deep breath and says, "Here goes," and then he calls Abby.
Abby picks up the phone. Hello?
Hey, Abby, it's me.
Hey, Adrian. How's it going?
Well, that will kind of depend on you and Renee. Are you guys busy at the moment?
No, I don't think so.
If it's not too much trouble, would you mind coming over, or I can come to you?
Sure. She kind of holds the phone away from her and turns towards Renee. Adrian wants to see us. Do you want to go over there or have him come here?
Either way, I have to get dressed, so it does not matter to me.
She kind of chuckles and goes back to the phone. We'll go ahead and come to you. We'll be there in like a half hour, 45 minutes.
That works. I'll put coffee over and break out a bottle of whiskey. We might need it.
That bad, huh?
It has the potential. That's all I'm gonna say over the phone.
Okay. We'll see you soon. And she hangs up the phone. And she looks at Renee. He's gonna have coffee and whiskey ready. I'm not sure what he wants to talk to us about, but it might get bad. I don't know.
As long as he does not try to pull any bullshit, we'll be fine.
Nah, he's fine. We'll see. And they get ready and head over.
And as soon as they ring the doorbell, which I'm gonna go ahead and hijack and assume that they do, Adrian will open and smile at them with a welcoming smile. Thank you for coming. Please come in. And once they're inside, he will head over to the couch where he has both coffee and 3 large glasses of whiskey ready, and gesture for them to sit down.
Merci. And she takes a seat.
This might get hairy, but it's a conversation that we need to have. First of all, before we get to the really hairy part, it struck me that I actually don't. Lol. And this it struck me that I actually don't know too much about the two of you, and you probably don't know too much about me. So, we're probably the 3 of us, and of course the others as well. But the three of us are probably going to have to depend on each other a lot more in the coming days, weeks, months, maybe even years, and it would do well to know a little bit more about what makes us us. The point I'm making is that I would like to both open up to you about what makes me tick, and the other way around. So if you want me to start, I can tell you that I'm, as you can tell from my accent, I am originally from across the pond. I am straight out of seminary. When I was straight out of seminary when I came here, and I have always had a bit of a fascination with things of a less than natural nature. I don't know if that was why the angels chose me to this. I will probably not know until I go to meet my maker. I am not. I'm not rich, and he continues to go on about his the part of his family and background that he feels comfortable sharing with these people. Where he roughly where he grew up and that kind of thing. And then he says, and finally, after I was none of us asked for the imbuing. None of us, at least I did not welcome it when it hit. But that's the game, and here we are. So as it is now, I'm going to do whatever I can to hold the line against the darkness. And that means that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that we hold that line and that none of us, or as few of us as possible, get hurt in the process. That was my very brief life story. And I am going somewhere with this, but I want to save that for a little bit later. So, and then he does a go-ahead gesture to the two of them.
Renee glances at Abby, seeing if she wants her to go first or if Abby wants to go first.
She gives Renee a bit of a nod as if, to say that she can go first.
Let's see. I was born here in Montreal. My father owns a trucking company. My grandparents have money. My uncle was the party boy when he was younger. He is now imbued as well. I am known in the underworld as a smuggler, though I have a very particular set of rules for what I would transport. And as somebody in this room has seen, I tend to just keep moving, even when others would tire of exhaustion. And she kind of glances down at Abby. And let's see, spent a little time in the armed forces. I was a helicopter pilot. And it seems Miss Abigail and myself were imbued in the same moment.
So, I suppose it's my turn.
It's fine.
I was born and raised just outside of Huntsville, Alabama. I went to college in Huntsville. Got a license for bounty hunting. Had a fairly uneventful life. Of course, being a bounty hunter is kind of exciting. It can be. Had a few violent altercations with fugitives. And what brought me to Canada was we were following one of our fugitives across the border. I know that's illegal. Doesn't matter. The gas station blew up anyway. That's what happened with our imbuing. We ended up at the same gas station in the same crazy situation over in Winnipeg, just outside of it. So that's about it.
What made you guys decide to come to Montreal? He asks. Is that because? And then he looks at Renee. Is that because you want to get back home, or?
Yeah, she said that she was heading back home, and I wanted to stay with her. I was pretty traumatized. I lost my partners, and the whole thing was just weird. And we've kind of gotten close, and so I decided to stay.
He nods, and then he takes a big sip, not a sip, and it's not a sip, and he doesn't go bottoms up, but somewhere in between that, from the west, and then he looks at the table and then says, "The reason I asked you here, asked to talk to you, is twofold. First of all, to get a little bit more, so the three of us could get a little to know each other a little bit better, as we have now. Secondly, because you know how we are doing things that we would not have even conceived of doing before the imbuing. We have a problem. Actually, we have several problems." And he gives a little bit of a nervous chuckle. But the problem I'm thinking about now is the problem with the club that we need to take care of. We need to do two things. We need to destroy the monsters inside. We need to prevent as much loss of innocent life as possible. And we need to make sure that the monsters are actually dead. Now, we could just, I don't know. No, we need solutions, is what I'm saying, and we need smart solutions that isn't just going in Leroy Jenkins style, because that won't accomplish anything apart from getting us all killed. Now, the best way to get information, the best way to go into that kind of a situation, that kind of fight, is to go in prepared. He looks at both of them. But those things are not likely to cooperate willingly. The long and short of it is, I need to know how far you two are willing to go in the pursuit of the hunt. What are the lines you will not cross, if there are any? And he looks at both of them.
I will not cross the line that gets her killed. And needless murder, especially people that could be saved. Say, like with these blood draws, I do not know exactly what happened. I do not know if the individual in reference had attacked you guys himself, or if he was just amongst them. So I do not know exactly what happened, but if somebody can be saved, even if they have been tainted, your Bible speaks of redemption. Oui?
He nods and smiles, and then he says, "It does also speak of stamping out the darkness."
Oui. But who's to say that he cannot stamp the darkness out of his heart and come back to the light without dying?
He sighs. This is a very interesting philosophical discussion, Renee. He doesn't patronize her. He would not do that willingly, at least. This is a very interesting philosophical discussion, Renee, and I would love to have it with you at another time. But please indulge me for now. Thank you for that, by the way. I need to know your limits, and those are yours. And he looks over at Abby. Expectantly.
Sorry, my
No worries.
computer was lagging, so I'm having a hard time unmuting. Abby, she looks a bit thoughtful. Honestly, from what I've seen so far, hunting monsters isn't unlike hunting fugitives. You have to be careful of the people around you. You have to make sure that innocents aren't going to get hurt or killed in the process. You have to be very tactful. I hold the same morals as I did before. If at all possible, I will avoid the needless loss of life. And if somehow a monster can be redeemed, we should probably try and find a way to do that. But if not, then I have no problems putting it out of its misery.
He nods. And he looks a little bit more reassured at that than he did at Renee's question, at Renee's answer. And then he takes a deep breath and he takes another swig of his drink. He's like he is not drunk or tipsy, but he is he has almost emptied the glass. And he says, the reason I ask those questions is that we need information, as much information about that club as we can possibly get. The way to get that information, the best way to get that information, is to get it from one of the monsters. Now, that would mean capturing one of them alive, and getting the information from them. However, they are probably not likely to give us that information voluntarily. The reason I'm dragging you into this is that we need a mobile, secure location to do the questioning. And he looks at the two of them. You guys have that. We could go to Momo's warehouse, but that's too far away. We could do it here, but that would not be a good idea at all for various reasons.
Well, from what I understand, she looks at Renee. Your place is soundproof, right?
That was a question to Renee? Yes. We these.
Yeah, I said she looks at Renee.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Then, yeah. I mean, it's Renee's, so it'd be up to her, but I don't have any issues with using it that way.
Adrian looks at Renee, waiting for her permission.
We can use it for that. I can tie them to the motor if necessary. They will not go anywhere unless they can lift over 2,000 pounds, in which case we would not be holding them down anyways.
That's true. Good. That is the location problem taken care of. I want to make sure that you guys understand what it is I'm talking about, he says, because this question has taken me some time to come to terms with, in the terms of my own thoughts and feelings about it. But I would much rather have some moral qualms now than look at look at the casket of one of us later because we were not prepared enough. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that information out of the monster. Whatever it takes. I will put it out of its misery afterwards, but not before we get what we want. And that is why I asked for your limits on what you will and will not be a part of. I do not. And he, his voice got somewhat deeper and much darker. Says, I do not relish the prospect of doing what I'm talking about here. I hate it from the bottom of my heart, but I hate it less than the thought of losing one of you guys or one of the others, because we did not have all the information that we could have. So that's the game. I will try to find a way to find and capture one of those things, and then we should probably plan in more detail exactly how we're going to do that, because we need to get to your guys to your place quickly before anything else happens.
Well, when you go, or when we go, we can make sure that we have the truck close by. It can be moved, so we just find a big parking lot nearby or something to park it in. I'm not sure what the laws are here, but I know in the United States you can leave a truck parked in the parking lot in a big parking lot for 48 hours without any worry of getting towed or whatever.
Good.
So I think a few hours in a parking lot is not really going to raise any suspicions, you know.
No, definitely. Right, that's that taken care of. Then we need to. I will talk to Tomoko, and then I will try to get the four of us in a room together so we can plan in more detail.
The best option would be to find out if they have a delivery area that the truck can be backed up to, and they can be lured out into the alleyway where it is, grabbed and put in the truck, and we can take the truck wherever we need to do what we need to do.
Yes. Yes. That's a good idea. As much information as possible. That's information saves lives. Right. That was basically all I wanted. And he now empties the glass completely. I thank you for coming, he says, and he looks at both of them. The hunt is not pleasant, but it is necessary, and we need to get this club out of the way before Cthulhu descends upon us.
We must get many things out of the way before that happens.
True.
Yeah, we were able to narrow the search a little bit for buildings, the vision that I had with the shadow creature. So we're hopefully going to be trying to investigate places soon. She looks at Renee.
She'll nod.
Oh, if you want to help, you're more than welcome to help us.
I will do whatever you want me to, whatever you need me to in that matter. He smiles.
It's mostly just trying to get into boarded up buildings without getting caught.
He grins. What a life, eh?
I know. Honestly, though, like I said, it's really not that much different from hunting fugitives, but at least when I was hunting fugitives, I had a little bit more authority to go into places I wasn't really supposed to be otherwise.
Yeah, there's that.
Renee reaches into her pocket and holds her hand out to Abby.
Abby holds out her hand.
Renee puts her usual thing in your hand.
Abby looks down and sees a few M&Ms in her hand. She smiles. And she eats the M&Ms while taking a sip of her whiskey-filled coffee.
Like Adrian watches her pour the whiskey into the coffee and does cringe a little bit because he is English, and and that's a waste of good whiskey. But he
That's the way she drinks it in Alabama.
and he smiles and then he nods. Well, thank you, both of you. I will let you hear from me soon. When the three of us and Tomoko can get together. I don't know if we also need to find some way that is not suspect of trying to get into their trying to find out those things about their delivery access and that kind of thing. I'm not quite sure yet because just waltzing in towards their back door might not be a good idea.
You should be able to just look at the alleyways and the driveways around it to see if there are any that lead up to the building. If there are, then park near one of those entryways.
Oh, that's a good idea, and maybe block off one, like if it's an alleyway or something, we can try and block off one end with the truck. If we could get away with it. We'd have to make it quick, though.
Yeah, exactly. We need to do that right as we get the thing, because having a truck parked in a parking lot, that's not a big deal. Having a strange truck parked right outside a club, that is kind of a big deal. Which is why we would need to time it.
I would say you have one person who is your lure, one person who is their spotter, to coordinate timing when they head out so that I can bring the truck into position.
Yes.
I would say that the lure should be somebody who has not been there yet, as it will raise less suspicions. Whereas if any of you have caused trouble there in the past, you will be more likely to...
Yeah, it would be suspicious. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are... again, another aspect of this is that it will likely mean keeping the specifics of large parts of this operation hidden from at least some of the others. The reason I say this is, especially the newest addition to our group, I do not see him going along with this plan at all. At all. Based on how he reacted at the warehouse.
Well, I think he just needs some work. He has to understand that not everyone can be saved.
True.
I mean,
Adrian says that's true, but I don't think we have the time for that process.
No, and if he gets in our way, then we do what we have to.
He lagged out like bad, I think.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything, if you said anything.
I'm sorry, but all of that just disappeared. Hello?
Can you hear me?
We hear you now.
Yeah,
Can
there
you
was
hear
just
me?
like severe lag. But can you hear
Yeah,
it?
you had major lag.
I couldn't hear a word you just said, Lindsay. Sorry.
I guess I'm having major lag too.
I mean, I can hear you.
I'll just turn down my bandwidth. I didn't hear anything you said after my last statement.
We didn't hear your last statement. After what Abby said about we do what we have to if he got in our way,
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Oh. Okay. She said that we would try to get him to see, to go along with us, but if he gets in our way, then we're gonna have to do what we have to.
Yeah, he nods, and he looks
Because
even.
we can't have him hindering, and we can't have him unleashing more monsters on the world.
No,
So.
what happened at the warehouse very nearly went very badly because of him, and it will take me a long time to forget that.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story of that.
Basically, to make a long story short, he says, we went there, and apparently he had gotten there first because he wanted to find one of the monsters who was. I haven't really talked to him all that much, but when we got there, he was in conversation with one of them, and then the monster basically fell on its knees, crying, which made its fellows be about to attack, and that is when we had to move in. So we moved in and put the monsters down. The problem is that he was dragging the other monster along, the one that he came to see, and trying to get to his car with the monster. If I hadn't ran over there and used the shield of St. Michael on him, the thing I can do that pushes monsters away, I'm pretty certain that he would have gotten away with the monster. And he reacted very, very badly to us trying to do our job. So that's why I'm concerned about bringing him in on this until it's actually been done. Because once it is done, he can, pardon my French, bitch about it all that he wants. It is, what is the French term, fait accompli? He smiles a little bit. But if he knows about it beforehand, he might very well try to sabotage us. I hate keeping secrets from the group, he says. I've only done it once, and that was a mistake with Tomoko. But I think this is one instance where it's necessary, because otherwise we risk blowing the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
Just in case you are not aware, the monster that he was trying to save, the puppet, they had been coming to meetings at the clinic to get rehab, to be better. Just so you know.
He nods, and he doesn't he doesn't look like he's not. He's not like a completely cold ass, but he is.
That is why he was trying to save him.
He
Because
knows.
he had been trying to make himself better.
Adrian nods, and I can appreciate that. He says, in my line of work, as you might understand, as you might guess, I come into contact with many people who are very much down on their luck, and who has been dealt a very bad hand by life. So I'm not unsympathetic to that. What I am unsympathetic to is endangering my friends and my comrades in arms.
Yes, and it's not like you had time to stop and have a lengthy conversation about it.
He points to Abby in the way that you do when you say, like, exactly, and that's actually what he says. Exactly that.
I'm sorry, Renee, but the way that he acted at the truck the other day, I'm not really that impressed with him.
Look.
He's sitting there. You're welcome to roll P&E if you really want.
What?
Two.
What is that roll?
Perception empathy on Renee. I guess I needed to roll it. I don't know why.
Have I gone robot-y again?
No?
Okay, good.
I don't understand what she's doing, so
She's trying to keep her frustrations from showing.
well, it didn't work.
For you. She looks a little frustrated by this whole thing with the fact that her uncle is a part of this.
She'll make a mental note to talk to Renee about it later. She will then reach over and take her hand. Anyway, I think we're in agreement that we need to do what's best for the group and try and keep down as much loss of innocent life as we can.
Exactly. Right. Adrian nods. That's the whole idea about actually taking the time and effort to capture one of these bastards and interrogate it.
Of course.
So that we can...
We need to have all the information we can. It's, like Tomoko said, we can't go in these things blind. We have to have a plan, which I completely agree with, which is why I came up with the plan that I did before we just went in and,
yeah,
with the shadow monsters. And I think that worked in our favor. So it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing, when I was hunting fugitives. There were times where we would have to go in at the last minute because we didn't have a choice. But for the most part, we gathered intel and we made sure that we knew exactly where these people were, how to get to them, what security we had to go through, and everything else before we went and got them. So it's kind of the same principle, I think.
It is exactly the same principle.
Renee drinks her coffee.
Adrian takes a look in his empty whiskey glass and then seems to ponder for a moment before he takes a bottle and pushes it slightly further away from him. Drunk priests are not fun. So he takes a sip of his coffee instead. And I don't quite know how to proceed from here.
I will go survey the area around the club, see where is a good spot for the talk to be put.
He nods. That's a good idea. Thank you, Renee. I will attempt to. Tomoko gave me some hints about some people to contact about how to best go about extracting information. I will go on when we finish here.
Renee sips her coffee.
Yeah. I don't know if like storyteller. How can we get Damon in on this, and how do we do it?
How would you like to get him involved?
Well, I mean, it would he could definitely be an asset in this, but he might have. Getting in on the scene. How do we introduce him to the scene?
Well, could you just say that you called Damon and he didn't answer his phone, so you left a message for him to come over, and he just shows up late?
That works. That works. It's just late here. That works, don't
No, yeah, I know. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like 12:15 for me, and it's 12:15 in the morning for me and me and Torna. And it's
Yeah.
about 1:15 for Mark.
Yep. Sleepy brain.
Damon would probably actually swagger in like this, much like the picture I have. You know?
Yeah, I see it. Adrian will, when he rings the doorbell, Adrian will open and say, "Oh, hi, Damon. Please come in."
So sorry I'm late. Had a bit of an incident as he strides in.
He closes the door and then takes out another glass whiskey. You might need it.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
And he pours a large glass of whiskey for Damon, and then moves over to the couch and puts it down. Yeah, we were telling our life stories. We will probably not do that again because we've had all the feels from that. But there's another thing that I actually called the three of you for. And Adrian's face gets slightly dark as he says this, and then he hands Damon the glass of whiskey and says, there is no polite way to say this, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask it straight, if that's okay. How far are you willing to go in the hunt? What are your limits? What are the lines you will not cross?
I don't kill kids.
He nods.
Other than that, I do what I need to do.
Good. And then he looks at the two others and then back to Damon and then says, we have a problem with, well, we have several problems, as I said, but one of the problems is that accursed club. And we need to find we need to find the best way to deal with that club. Now, I think Tomoko is right. The days of just going in Leroy Jenkins and hoping for the best are over. They have to be. We need to keep ourselves alive for the coming Call of Cthulhu or whatever the messengers tried to warn us about. So we need all the information we can get about that place before we do anything about it. And in order to get that information, the best way, the most reliable way, is to get a hold of one of the things. Now, getting a hold of one of the things is difficult but doable. That's not the problem. The problem is getting them to give us the information that we need. That might become a problem because they're not likely to just go ahead and tell us what we need to know.
So what you're saying is you want us to torture one of them, right?
When he says when Damon says the word torture, Adrian flinches, but he does not deny it. And then he takes a deep breath, looks at him straight in the eye, and says yes. Or as has been said, what is it? Enhanced interrogation techniques.
Torture is torture, man.
Yeah, it is, and I
have some experience with interrogation. I could handle that if you'd like.
Adrian will nod, and then he will say, I will definitely want you as part of that. I have Tomoko gave me the name of a mailing list called Firelight that apparently has some people that could come in, whose knowledge could come in handy as well. I will, after we're done here, I will try to contact one of them and find out what they can tell us. But yes, Abby, if you would be willing to do a part of it, that would help.
She nods.
That was to Abby.
It was, and
Oh, okay. Abby also nods. Yes, of course.
So I take it we're not doing the kumbaya, holding each other's hands approach to this then. Damon just kind of raises an eyebrow.
Adrian nods. Not in this, and that is why
we're still, I think, going to go talk to Nene. But as far as the club goes, no.
Yeah, which is also why, and again, I hate keeping secrets from the group. I only did it once with Tomoko, and that was a mistake, which I have apologized for. But in this case, the newest addition to our little family is not likely to go along with any of this. And if we tell him about this plan, it is very likely that he's going to sabotage it, or at least attempt to. And we know that. That's why.
Yeah, and I know exactly what a certain person will do if he sabotages the plan.
He looks at him. Oh, yeah. Well, and we also talked about that. If that happened, we would have to do what we had to do, and I don't want to do that. So I would suggest that
Damon sort of stiffens then and sort of cocks his head at Adrian. Now, what are you saying? Do what you have to do.
Adrian looks at him and says, "If he gets in the way of the hunt," and then he looks at Abby and Renee as well, we can't allow him to do that.
No, we will do what's necessary if he gets in the way.
Which is why I think it's imperative that he does not know before it is actually done. He can bitch about it all he wants afterwards. That's fine. We'll just I don't know, plug our ears or something. But
I'd rather not have to kill him. But
yeah.
Damon takes a long drag of his cigarette and just looks at Renee. Isn't he your uncle or some shit?
Adrian's eyes widens at that.
A bit longer.
And you're okay with them two going, well, if he fucks the plan, we're going to kill him.
I would prefer to deal with it myself, but if I am not there to deal with it, well, deal with the consequences after.
Look, I'm not saying that if he fucks up once that he's going to be off, but if he continually hinders what we're doing and makes hunting monsters virtually impossible, then we're going to have to do something about it.
And Adrian says, if he endangers one of us, then we cannot allow that. Again, that is why it is, as I said, imperative that he does not know about this operation until after it is already done.
So, being honest, one fuck up is all it needs. You know?
I guess it depends on the fuck up.
Yeah.
So
I know that he's your uncle, Renee, but from what I understand, you haven't seen him in years, so do you even know him? I mean, really.
She takes a sip of her coffee.
Damon just kind of shrugs and kind of just grins to himself as he picks up and takes a sip of his whiskey. Y'all motherfuckers are cold, man. Shit, I was just gonna scope the place and think about blowing it up, man. Fuck.
And the problem is, Adrian says, the reason we don't do that is, the reason I don't want to do that is that we will risk killing a lot of innocent people as well. I'm not saying that we can completely avoid that. There are casualties in war, but I want to keep the innocent. I want to keep the collateral damage to a minimum.
Problem is, big man, not a lot of them in there are innocent.
No, but there are likely to be some guests that are just there for the goth vibe or whatever. And I don't think that edgy teens rebelling against their parents deserve to be blown away because there are monsters in there. If it can be avoided.
I have a feeling it's a nest. I have a feeling it's a nest, man. That's what I think it is. Some sort of fucking feeding ground or some shit.
What we're going to do first is we're going to see if we can catch one of them and interrogate it. Get some information on master, whatever, head honcho. If we need to annihilate the place later, we will.
Want to know which one to go for then? Damon just kind of smirks himself. Silver-haired girl. She seemed like the one in charge.
All right, then we look for her.
Yeah. That's been my plan for a while. Damon just kind of just shakes his head, you know what I mean? Like, you know, about time, you know what I mean?
We're gonna have Renee's truck parked nearby so that we can just take her straight to the truck. It's soundproof. It's a good place, and it's mobile. Good place to ask someone questions, be a little bit more violent if we need to. I'd rather not, but we'll do what's necessary.
Yes.
Well then, what are we standing around for? As he kind of just gets up and just downs the whiskey, no problem, and just pops another cigarette in his mouth and just looks good. Let's go.
Well, Adrian will I don't. Oh, see, I think it's getting a little bit too late to go on admission this detail because this will likely take some time, and I probably not be able to stay awake. But
No,
I mean,
that's perfectly fine, man. We can.
Can we cut it here and continue?
Yeah, we'll cut it in, continue tomorrow or whenever. For anyone's respective parts.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, couldn't get in earlier. Torna, but.
Oh, that's alright.
All right. I can do stuff tomorrow for you as well if you want.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Montreal by Night. We thank you, players, for playing. We thank you, watchers, for watching. And we hope to see you all again very, very soon. Au revoir, Madame et Messieurs. Inherit the Earth.